The Canadian Bro Show. All right. Welcome back to the Canadian Bro Show. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. Well, we've been banging this Canadian Bro Show out for the last year or so, and we've done over 90 episodes. The Canadian Bro Show at the Canadian Bro Show podcast is a specific Canadian. We just want to talk about Canada. And over the last year, we have two iterations thus far. The first iteration is all things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. And we just completed episode 60. Very proud of that. An excellent episode. You'll see that on the ticker below. Episode 60 and 59 are both up. The second iteration of the Canadian Bro Show is basically all basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. You'll see my logo up top. And essentially, we want to talk about Canadian basketball. We want to talk about American basketball. At the end of the day, basketball was invented by a Canadian, Dr. James Naismith. And this is our second season, episode 39. And all things basketball with Pauly and Rowley. Trent Rowley, my partner in crime for the second iteration of the Canadian Bro Show podcast. We filmed an episode last night. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties, probably because of me, and it happens. And so I've decided to do another episode based on what we did last night, and try to give you an update on a very busy NBA schedule. Today, certainly, there's 12 games today, and then on Christmas, there's another 6 games. And it's been a kind of a weird, wonky week with the Emirates Cup just finishing, and congratulations to the New York Knickerbockers and the MVP, Jalen Brunson, from winning $500,000 US each. And that goes for all the players and all the coaches and management, but not all the peripheral staff. The New York Knicks were so kind in the spirit of holidays to pool all their money together, extensive amount of money, thank you, Emirates, and pay off everybody in the organization, which I thought was a really beautiful move. And it is the holidays and the season of Thanksgiving and giving and kindness and generosity. I think it was a really nice touch. But getting back to hoops, essentially, when I have Trent here, we usually break it down. We talk about the WNBA, we talk about the NBA, we talk about Yahoo NBA Fantasy, 9 category leagues. Fantasy basketball is a passion of mine, a hobby of mine. I've been doing it for 24 years now. I find myself, after 24 years of being a general manager of a Yahoo NBA Fantasy basketball, I actually am in the top 1% of all fantasy basketball players in Yahoo. And in fact, I've won 80 trophies, approximately 31st, approximately 28 seconds, and about 33rds, thereabouts. And I'm a platinum, so I'm in the 1% of fantasy. So I better know what I'm talking about. Because I love it, and having 8 teams as a GM, it's the first thing I do every morning, and it is rather extensive, and so is putting together this show. It's nice to be able to lean on Trent, but he's probably having an eggnog in the jacuzzi right now with wifey in St. Paul, Alberta, on the 16th hole of a golf course in his jacuzzi. So enjoy, and happy holidays, Trent, and apologize for last night. So with the NBA Cup, as I mentioned, in the rearview mirror, the next scheduling quirk for the fantasy managers to navigate in Christmas Day, not only are there 5 games on Thursday for managers to worry about, but there's also how a lack of games on Christmas Eve. 0. And then, of course, there's 12 games on a Tuesday, and normally in fantasy basketball, Tuesdays and Thursdays are lighter slates. With the scheduling of the Emirates Cup and then Christmas Day, it's a bit wonky. So we're going to get slammed tonight, and I'll go down to the breakout of all the 12 teams playing tonight. I want to talk about NBA basketball, fantasy basketball, And I do a segment on NBA fantasy basketball for our show. We usually start it off. We also like to talk about the WNBA, but I leave that up to Trent. So next week when we do our 40th episode, I'll let Trent fill you in on some of the latest information on the WNBA, and it's always fascinating. And so week 10, there's 4 teams that are playing in the week, and that is in the fantasy basketball league that I play in. It's 9 category leads, and you play against one team, and I happen to be playing against Trent's team in one of our teams for the week, and we battle it out for every day that there's basketball. And at the end of that day, whoever wins, and it goes to the total points, and that's how the season progresses. In NBA fantasy basketball, you really want to look for teams that games, 4 games in a week or 3 games minimum, and avoid anything less. 4 games, you've got Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Indiana, Memphis, New Orleans, Pelicans, OKC, Orlando, Portland, Utah. Stack your basically all the players that are playing in that. If you have those, great. If you don't, pick up a couple, fill in the spots. The idea is to start strong on a Monday and Tuesday and then ease into the remainder of the week. Because again, you can't do anything about Christmas, pre-Christmas, no games, Christmas, 5 games. And there's at the end of the day, you just got to work with the schedule as best you can. 3 games: Atlanta, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Heat, the Bucks, Timberwolves, the Knickerbockers, the 76ers, the Suns, the Kings, the hapless Kings, San Antonio Spurs with Wemby, the only Canadian team in the NBA, the Toronto Raptors, and Washington. And then, of course, 2 games with Brooklyn. Completely forget about it. Don't worry about it. Next segment we're going to do is as you're putting your teams together for the week and you check out the schedule and how many games there are, you want to fill out as many of those days and players in those as you can. And the best way to do that is to look at the schedule and then follow the Canadian Bro Show, all basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. We do a segment called Waiver Wired Connected. And that is who is streaming, who's available, how can you pad your team for the week to give you the most possible points against Trent's team. As an example, I'm paying him. The first player I want to talk about is an extraordinary young man. He's a 7-footer. First time I saw Kalel Ware play was when he was in college, and he was playing a game, and he had a double compound fracture of one of his tibias. It was absolutely frightening. I really do not wish anybody to watch that. It'll stick with you for the rest of your life. He did, however, successfully heal and got drafted, and now the Miami Heat have found their next superstar. He is ready to explode on the scene. He's a forward center. He's 67% rostered. Since entering the starting lineup, he's been out and about, and this is what Coach Spo does. I mean, his the rosters can change all the time and be very fluid, but I think Spo likes to interject Kalel Ware into the starting lineup to play with Bam, because Bam's a low post guy without a 3-point game, and Kalel Ware just the other day has been averaging almost 48 fantasy points by posting 25 points a game, 15 rebounds, and just under 2 blocks a game. And in the last game, he had 6 threes, which makes it perfect when he's out on the wing or at the 3-point line and having Bam down low. It gives you a combo 1-2 spot. He's got a beautiful stroke. He's fluid. He's long. He has a 7'4" wingspan, and he is a really nice, mellow, even guy. Doesn't get too excited, he is unbelievable. In the 8 fantasy teams I have, I picked him up on 6 of my teams in the 7th and 8th round. If he's available, highly unlikely, although there's 32%, still have him, scoop him, grab him, hold on to him. Excuse me. Next guy I'm going to talk about is John Collins, the forward center that used to be with the hapless Jazz last year, and the Clippers, he got traded to the Clippers to give them some help at the power forward position and to give them a little bit more youth. At 31, I guess that's considered youthful in the NBA. The Los Angeles Clippers have the oldest team in the history of the NBA with almost an average of 36 years old. Collins is younger. He's athletic. He can play both forward spots, even the center if you're playing small ball. And he gives them a three-point game on the outside and athleticism. And he is a good pick-and-roll guy because you can throw him up for lobs. If he's available, grab him. He is a very fluid 7-footer and just recently had 17 points, 12 rebounds, 4 stocks, that's steals and blocks in 43 fantasy points. He's really easing in to their rotation because they're decimated by injuries like every other team. The Spencer brothers, Cam Spencer in this case, are two of the best lacrosse players in the history of the NCAA division. Probably the leading scorers and assist guys in and both of them, when they retired, they were number 1 and 2. Best 2 players, happen to be twins, in lacrosse's NCAA division, but they're athletes, and they're both in the NBA. And Cam Spencer just went off in the last couple of games because Ja Morant's injured once again with the Memphis Grizzlies. And his brother, the other Spencer, is with the Golden State Warriors helping out those guys, and they're virtually identical. With Ja Morant and Vince Williams Jr. are out for Monday out again, and opening up another start for Spencer. He's surprisingly ranked 31st over the past month, which is remarkable. Not even drafted in the NBA. And providing a balance of scoring efficiency and assists. There's no guarantee that Morant plays on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, and the guy's always injured. Pick up Cam if you got him, because he is starting and he's getting minutes, and they really have a depth problem on the Memphis Grizzlies. There's no guarantee that Morant comes back at any time soon. At the end of the day, in Week 10, Spencer had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists across 37 minutes in a loss to Washington, unfortunately, on Saturday. You got to keep an eye on them. Another team that's got 4 games this week is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're 26-3 right now, leading the NBA overall, and world champions with the best point guard in the world, a Canadian in Shea. They are tough, but they got a kid that they play 10 deep in the rotation. They got a kid on the bench named Cason Wallace, and he's only 25% rostered, but OKC has a favorable schedule, as I mentioned, with the back-to-back Monday and Tuesday, and they'll also play on Christmas and Sunday, both 2 lighter slates, which gives you a better idea of how you might be able to steal a couple of nights in that week. The next player I'd like to talk about is Coach Jason Kidd has been using Najee Marshall quite a bit. He's been playing 30, 31, 32 minutes as a small forward, power forward for the Dallas Mavericks. He's only 22% rostered, and he is a bucket getter. He's a scoring machine. And if you need that sort of a plug-in player or a waiver wire pickup, Najee Marshall's the guy to do it. He's going to get the minutes, and he's playing also off guard as well as small forward. Marshall had a decent 25-point floor points in points league, but with Cooper Flagg, Max Kuski, and Klay Thompson all questionable, the absence should increase his share on offense, and he dropped 22 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, and 2 steals against Philly on Saturday. He is a guy you would like to take a hard look at if you need a flyer or filler. The next one is you got to talk about the Joker and the Denver Nuggets. Cameron Johnson starting to come around. Bruce Brown is another guy they picked up when they won their championship a couple years ago. Bruce Brown was on that championship team, and they brought much needed depth. Peyton Watson is another player they have. They've got some injuries. However, Cam Johnson, if he's available, grab him, and he is available. I picked him up on 2 of my teams, and he's 6'9", and he started off horrendous the beginning of the season. But the Nuggets play 4 games in Week 10, and starting with Monday, Tuesday, back-to-back. Cameron Johnson on Monday had 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 4 threes. And he is starting to slowly show more comfort and understanding where to be and move without the ball, because that's what Denver does. Joker's the best passing big man in the NBA, and if you don't move without the ball, you're not going to get the ball. And a lot of people don't realize that moving without the ball, once the plays have been called and the play breaks down, is how you can get extra points, how you can get to the foul line. It's very important. Cameron Johnson's a flamethrower. At 6'9", he can get a shot over anyone. He's starting to really come into his own. And Brown gives you nice minutes and a variety of categories coming off the bench as a backup, either at the 1, 2, or 3. The next one to talk about is Bub Carrington, the point guard for Washington Wizards. He's only 19% rostered. And Carrington is thriving since he moved into the starting lineup. It's about time. It's in his third season in the NBA. He's averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5.5 assists over his last 5 games. Efficiency has always been a constant knock, but it always is for rookies and first and second, third year players. The Wizards play the Hornets, Rapids, and Grizzlies, so they get 3 matchups against teams that don't really pose much of a threat defensively or, for that point, offensively, really, although the Hornets can really put it up. Now that Bub's getting the minutes, his combination of scoring and playmaking makes him an appealing option if you need a flyer in 9 categories. I'd be adding him for counting stats, and hopefully he's available. And if he's not available, Keyshawn George is available, and he is their superstar, third-year player, best throw in the NBA, in my opinion. At 6'7", he's got good height. He averages about 16 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 6 assists, a couple of steals, 3 threes. He shoots really good splits from the field, 3-point shooting and foul shooting. If he's available, get him. He's what makes this young team go. Definitely take a hard look at him. Got a couple of bigs here. One is for the Detroit Pistons. Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew, has been trending up since Tobias Harris has been really slipping into disappearing practically. And Stewart's been a solid source of blocks this year. He's averaging just 2 blocks a game, third in the league. Despite his undersize at 6'8", his ability to stretch the floor and play valuable minutes at power forward alongside my favorite big in the NBA, Jalen Duren. With so many of Stewart's defensive and shot making, he'd easily get a bump up to 25 to 30 minutes if Harris continues to struggle as he has been. Stewart's role is stable, and while I prefer him to play for 9 categories, he is going to be playing 4 games, and he is definitely worth a stream. The next big man, there's 2 guys out of Memphis. One is Santi Aldama, the Spanish 7-footer. He just went absolutely ballistic last night. Memphis is running on fumes, and what they mean by that is they don't have enough healthy bodies. They've had a coaching change. There's a lot of issues going on. Who knows what's going on with Morant, but Aldama came in and had a massive role. He exploded for a season-high 57 fantasy points against Washington, of course, one of the worst defensive teams in the league. 37 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 stocks. Those are steals and blocks. Attempting 23 shots, which he never really does because there's a lot of other guys. But they're just, like I say, they're running on fumes when it comes to offense. The shot volume is the story, and the Grizzlies have been desperate for offense. With Brandon Clark now sidelined with a calf injury, once again, soft tissue. Ja Morant already ruled out once again with another ankle injury. Santi Aldama is looking for a good week as they play 4 games. And that is waiver wired connected. I'm going to get into a really interesting story about a new league that the NBA is trying to put together with a FIBA. A FIBA represents the Federation of International Basketball Association, and NBA and FIBA say that they're moving closer to a planned basketball league in Europe. This story is by the Associated Press, Mr. Tim Reynolds. Thank you, Tim. The NBA and FIBA said Monday that they will start the process of engaging with teams and owners about joining their planned new league in Europe next month. And they've been talking about this for years, but it's getting closer. And as has been expected, the league will offer both permanent spots and merit-based pathways to qualifying on an annual basis through FIBA's Basketball Championship League. It's like their top Euro league in the world. The best players, the creme de la creme. Really what it is the teams and the leagues that have the most money at the end of the day. At the end of the season tournament, the sides said that every team in FIBA qualified European League would have a chance to qualify. And usually what that means is Series A. Those are the top top-tier teams in each of the European or FIBA leagues. The format of the league represents European sport model principles by offering any ambitious club, ambitious meaning they got cake, an opportunity, a chance to qualify. The format of the league respects European model principles, and many details for the new league are yet to be formally finalized, including when it will start play. The moving target has been talked about as October in 2027, a year and a half away approximately. And how many teams will take part in the inaugural season? Among the models that the NBA and FIBA have explored is a 16-team league with 12 permanent spots. Obviously, the teams with the EuroLeague teams with the most money and the best talent. And then 4 available qualifying spots to make it 16 teams. The sides have been discussing a European league for many years, and no shortage of the NBA's biggest stars right now hail from that continent. You look at the NBA right now, 450 roster spots. There's almost 200 players from different countries around the world. And that's why FIBA and NBA are amalgamating together, because basketball's the fastest growing team sport in the world. And I think it's the best team sport in the world, but I'm biased. I'm a hoop junkie. That's why I've got the Canadian Bro Show podcast, all basketball from the Hoop Junkies, Pauly and Rowley, because I'm a hoop junkie. European players that are in the NBA that they talk about playing in this league as well is Denver's Nikola Jokic from Serbia, Milwaukee's the Greek Freak, Giannis from Greece, San Antonio's Victor Wembanyama from France, the Los Angeles Lakers' Luka Doncic from Slovakia, and the Utah's, the finisher, Lauri Markkanen, are one of 6, and there's many more players, but I just thought I'd mention the best ones. Efforts towards the starting of the new league seem to begin intensifying around the time of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Earlier that year, Zelskis and Silver, Zelskis being the president of FIBA, and Adam Silver, the same likewise of the NBA, at a side-by-side New York press conference announced that the NBA and FIBA were moving towards this project. Things have moved quickly, along with JP Morgan Bank, of course, coming in with financial, and Rain Group, another financial, brought on board this summer to advise on certain financial components, very important in this league. All conversations with various stakeholders in Europe has reinforced our belief that enormous opportunity exists around the creation of this new league on the continent, says NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Current target countries for the NBA FIBA endeavor are known to include Britain, or Great Britain, or UK, where I was born, with the potential host cities such as the London and Manchester, in France, Paris and Lyon, in Spain, Madrid and Barcelona, in Italy, Rome and Milan, of course, in Germany, München and Berlin, in Greece, Athens, and in Turkey, Istanbul. The NBA has a pair of regular season games in Europe in mid-January, with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Orlando Magic coming to Berlin and London for contests. So it's going to be interesting to keep our eyes open for this league. It just means more basketball for the Canadian Bro Show at All Basketball from the Hoop Junkies, Pauly and Rowley, and I don't mind. Let's go. Bring it. I do want to talk about the NBA right now. Today is an extremely busy day, and I just want to go through the schedule briefly and talk about a little bit about the games that are played till 12 games tonight. At 4 o'clock, which is the first time segment when it starts, is you've got the Washington Wizards at 5-22, bumbling and humbling along, playing the upstart Charlotte Hornets. They're healthy now, and they're 9-20. That'll be a run and gun team like you've never seen. The next game at 4 o'clock is going to be the Brooklyn Nets. They're 8-19, struggling, playing against a better Philadelphia 76ers, coached by my old friend Nick Nurse from the British Basketball League when I played there. He did one of my games that was on Sky Sports in Wembley, and we were playing Partizan Belgrade, and we beat them. And he called the game and said some nice things. So thanks, Nick. Thanks, Coach Nurse. Love it. Of course, that was 26 years ago, but, whatever. And then we've got here's a great game. The Bulls and Hawks are playing a game. I watched them play last night. They scored over 300 points. It was like 153 to 152. And it was just a run and gun. It was unbelievable. It was like watching the NBA in the early 80s with Denver Nuggets. These guys were just going at each other. And Ice Trey is back. He had a great game. He had 35 and 10. And, a healthy Atlanta Hawks team with Porzingis healthy. He wasn't playing. They are going to be very tough. It was a great game. The Bulls played crazy good. A lot of guys contributing. They're playing again tonight, so it's going to be just a run and gun fest, right? Everybody's going to be trying to out-duel each other. The next tranche of times, we've got the Pelicans, the hapless Pelicans, who are showing signs of life with a couple of their rookie players playing really well. Derek Queen and Sadiq Bey being two of them. The Pelicans are 8-22. They play at 4:30 against the Cavaliers at 16-14. And that should be an entertaining game as well. The next game at 4:30 is the Bucks at 11-18 with the Greek Freak still injured against the hapless Pacers. They're really struggling. They're 6-23. And I'm not really sure I'm going to be watching that game. However, I do like to watch the Toronto Raptors, and the Raptors are playing the Miami Heat, which is going to be a great game. And the Raptors are playing really well. They're 17-13, and Brandon Ingram has really worked out for them. And everything seems to be clicking. They've been struggling a little bit. Porto, the Austrian center, he's got back issues. He needs to get healthy. They're playing the Heat with, I mentioned Kalawera and Bam. And the Heat are very dangerous. They have the number one offense in the NBA, and they're just run and gun. So, again, should be quite exciting. I love run and gun basketball. That's how I played basketball my entire career. And it's how I like to coach my fantasy basketball teams. Run and gun, but shooters. I got all shooters. The 5 o'clock games, Denver Nuggets are 21-7, playing the Dallas Mavericks, 11-19, Cooper Flag. And the Joker battling it out. I love watching Denver play. And the Dallas Mavericks, they're kind of fun to watch as well. I'm a big Cooper fan. Next game at 5 o'clock is the Knicks, 28-8. The Knicks have been playing great, and Jalen Brunson's been playing sort of MVP-like basketball. He is just like a pit bull in a china shop. He just doesn't stop. He's just relentless. And they're playing the 19-10 Timberwolves. They're playing some of their best basketball this season. The OKC Thunder are leading the NBA with 26-3. They're playing San Antonio Spurs with Wemby at home in San Antonio. I will be watching that game later. 6 o'clock game, Lakers 19-8. Have some injuries. I think LeBron's been playing fantastic. He had an incredible game yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And Arkansas Hillbillies coming back from an injury, so hopefully he plays tonight. The Lakers are playing the Phoenix Suns at 15-13. And next 6 o'clock game is the Memphis Grizzlies 13-16. They play the Jazz at 10-18. I don't think I'll be watching that game. The Orlando Magic are 16-13, and they play the Trailblazers at 12-17. That could be a really good run and gun game as well. And then the last two games at 7 o'clock. The Pistons have been dominating the East right now, playing some incredible basketball behind Jalen Duran and the synergy of him and Cade Cunningham and a variety of other things. Coaching seems to be clicking, and they've got good depth. And they're 23-6, which is really incredible, playing against perhaps one of the worst teams in the NBA and a really struggling franchise, which is too bad because the Sacramento Kings fan base is one of the best in the NBA. It's just the owners and the general managers and whoever's making the choices there. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I'll just leave it at that. The last game is my Rockets. I love watching the Houston Rockets. They're 17-9, and they're going to be playing the hapless Clippers at 7-21. I'm going to say the Rockets are going to win that game for sure, but I just wanted to say thank you very much. I'm doing a short episode because Trent is drinking eggnog in a thong on his jacuzzi on the 16th hole of his course with his wife, hopefully, and going to be enjoying Christmas. In the meantime, My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and this is the second iteration, as it says in my logo above, all basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. And I just thank you very much for joining us. I just wanted to do a quick 35-minute episode just to fill you in on what's going on in the NBA. We will be joining you next week. If you enjoy the Canadian Bro Show and its free content, we have over 100 videos now. Please subscribe. Help us out. If you've already subscribed, thank you kindly. The over 100 that have subscribed, we really appreciate that. Like, comment, and share. Really helps the algorithms, helps us grow the channel, and at some point get monetized in the near future. That is the goal. But in the meantime, thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next week for episode 40. In the meantime, happy holidays to everyone out there. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Whatever you're celebrating, whatever you're doing, just tell someone that you love them. Give them a hug. Be generous. Be kind. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much for joining me. We're going to finish it up. Peace, everyone. I hope Santa Claus spoils me. Take care.